Welcome to the Happy Tans podcast, where you will learn everything you need to know about running a successful sunless tanning business. We will interview some of the industry's top business owners to find out how they took a passion and turned it into a prosperous business. And here's your host, Grant Conscious.
Hey everyone, Grant from Happy Tans again. Thank you so much for joining us on this second episode of the Happy Tans podcast. It is my pleasure and honor to be able to put this on for everyone. The second episode, I will be joined by Andressa Leite from Sunmist Orlando. She is a longtime friend, and she will give a lot of insight and information into how she took her business from a mobile business in 7 months and opened her physical location in Orlando and how her business has grown from there. So thank you so much again for joining us. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hello, and welcome to the Happy Tans podcast. How are you doing today, Andressa?
I am doing great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for joining me here on the second episode of the Happy Tans podcast.
My pleasure.
I just wanted to start off, give us a little information about yourself and your business, where you're located, anything you want to fill people in on so they can get to know you a little bit.
Okay. Well, I have a small spray tanning studio in Orlando, Florida. It's called Sunmist. We just recently turned 6 years old, and I am still currently working full-time and have been the entire time I've been doing this, so I juggle both. I love this business. I love the people I've met. I've made great friends, and I'm excited to see what else is coming.
Yeah, that's great. I know Orlando's a great spot to be with all the sunshine down there, so I'm sure your business keeps you pretty busy year-round.
It does for the most part. I mean, I think like in all businesses we have slow times and, lulls, but we do stay pretty busy. We have a great clientele.
Yeah, and you've been around for 6 years, so you're pretty well established, I would imagine, in that area.
Yes, for sure.
So there's a lot of ups and downs in business, so I want to kind of touch on both of those. I guess on the first thing I want to touch on, though, is the worst, or what I consider one of the worst moments of your business. I know we all have them. They're kind of, it's not a fun thing to think about, but they do happen. I think it's important to talk about that. So do you have what you would consider a worst moment in your business that you would like to share with everybody?
Well, I would say that although I try to learn as much as I can from everything, probably the worst part of my business was when I opened up a second location in a blow-dry salon in Waterford, which is like 30 minutes away from my shop here. And as much as like everyone said it was going to be a great location, it's a very busy area, it just didn't go well the first 6 months. And I decided to go ahead and close and not get myself into debt. And so although it was like the worst moment, it like really worked out, and it opened up the doors for me to expand my current shop and be able to add a little side boutique to it. So it worked out, but it was probably like the hardest decision I've had to make in this business. I hate to quit, but it worked out in the end.
Yeah, it sounds like it was the right decision. I remember talking to you a couple of times during that, and it was a little frustrating for you. Like you said, I knew you didn't want to quit, but it sounded like it was the right option at that point, and it also led you to the ability to expand the current location, like you said, and we will include some pictures of your new spot because that place is pretty awesome. You did a really good job decorating it, so I want to share that for everybody for a little motivation.
Thank you so much.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. And on the flip side of that, I'm sure that you also have a best moment. So is there a specific moment that you can say is your best moment so far in your business?
It's hard to say like one best moment because there's been so many, being like ranked like best in Orlando or close to number one, a few years in a row. That's pretty awesome. Or having celebrities come in here because their people found my reviews online and this is the only place they wanted to come to. Or just like when clients come in and tell me like, oh, I'll ask them how they heard about us, and they'll say, oh, I Googled it, or I went on Yelp and I just read all the reviews. You have such amazing reviews. And that's always like a great thing to hear because, I've worked so hard to make it this successful, and it's great to hear that people feel the same.
Yeah, you rank pretty well down there. You have like I said, pretty solid foundation, so that definitely helps to promote your business. But I'm sure you remember the times when you were first starting out where that wasn't the case, and it took time and effort, and that's important for people to realize as well, that it does take take time to kind of build up. I mean, do you remember like starting out how it was? Obviously, probably not as much competition, but also you didn't have that foundation and all those reviews and everything.
Oh, it was tough. I first started like probably most people. I started doing mobile and just really try to build an online presence and tan as many people that I knew as I could so they could tell their friends. And, you know, just there's been so many times where I think I've even talked to you and been like, oh my gosh, this is really slow. It's been terrible the last couple months. I don't know. But I'm always glad that, you know, I stay and I pull through it and just make it work. You know, I build a lot of business online because of reviews and because of Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff, that it really helps get the word out.
Yeah, definitely. How long did you do mobile tanning before you got that location?
About 7 months.
Okay, so you jumped in pretty early on.
Yeah, because there was a great spot near my house that was small and perfect for what I needed because I knew I'd only be doing it part-time, and it just worked out. And it wasn't until this past January that I was able to expand. I've always been in that little tight space, and I think one of the great things that I did is that I was patient. I didn't go into this business spending, you know, so much money and putting so much into it. I like would do what I could to be where I got, and then I would go to the next, get something new, and I would expand this way or I would do that way. I never got myself in debt, which is like so important. Because
yeah, so you never, go ahead.
Oh, there's just like slow times that you're going to have to need to recover from. So I'm glad I never got to that point where I was like in debt and not bringing any money in.
Yeah, so you never overextended yourself. You just stayed like in your comfort zone, which allowed you to build the business slowly but surely, and you know, slow and steady wins the race.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good lesson to share, and you know, 7 months of mobile to kind of build that up, like you said, starting with your friends and family and people you know to get those reviews. You know, you're still getting legitimate reviews, even though you might be, you know, close to those people. You're still performing the services and learning how to do it. So did you actively pursue, like, did you actively ask these people, hey, do you mind leaving a review, or was it like, oh, I know they're going to take care of it? Because I always recommend for people to reach out and ask people, you know, they need to proactively do that.
Yeah, always. We always tell people, like, especially if somebody says, oh, I saw your review, that's how I came here. I say, oh, well, make sure you leave one too. It's a great way for people to know and feel comfortable. I feel like spray tanning is one of those things that people want to read reviews about, you know, because there's so many, like, bad things out there about people being orange, people being streaky, and, like, nightmare stories and stuff that I think that people take the time to read them. So I think it's so important. I always tell people, too, and if you leave us a review, we actually add $5 to your account that you can use towards the next service. Yeah,
that's a good way to do it, and that's so true. There's really, you know, relatively low barrier to entry in the industry, so I think you get a lot of people coming in there just thinking, hey, I'm going to get in here and make a quick buck, but they don't realize how difficult it is and how much, you know, sweat and effort you put in to get to where you are, you know, sweat equity, I guess you call it. So
right.
It's not as easy as it looks, but for those that have the passion to, they'll definitely make it through.
For sure.
So as you've grown from a mobile spot to now you have a location, and I believe that you have other people that work along with you, how has your spot in the business changed? Like, what have you done? Like, is it different from day to day, from week to week? Are you managing people? Or are you still doing a lot of the spraying? How does that work for you now?
I still do a lot of the spraying. I do have 2 other girls that spray for me, one being my best friend. She's been here 5 years, so it really works out. She takes care of everything. I don't have to worry when she's here, which is great. I still spray Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday nights, and sometimes Saturdays. I mean, I always spray if I need to, but I needed to take, like, a couple nights off because I was working 4 to 5 nights every week, doubles with my full-time job, and I was starting to get burnt out. So, actually, one of my girls does the payroll, which is awesome, and so that's one less thing that I have to do. But other than that, I mean, I'm here, you know, a lot. And I still have clients that, like, want me to tan them just because, you know, I've been tanning them forever. They feel more comfortable, so I always, like, make myself available to them.
Yeah, and do you find any way to adjust from that? Like, are there any people that, yeah, they might want you, but, hey, you're going to have to go to, you know, the other person that's here spraying, what, you know, your best friend maybe, and just kind of Is there an easy way to do that, or do you always make yourself available? Because there are going to be times where you're not going to be able to be there, or you might have to, for those people that are expanding, to bring other people on. So
Right. No, I've had people that will say, like, oh, I really only want you, especially in the beginning, because, her first year here, they would feel more comfortable. But I think now, like, if I can't do it, or, she can't do it, and our other girl, like, people just understand. If not, they have to come, the next day when I'm here.
Yeah, that's an important thing, too, because a lot of people, you want to do the business and do it right and be there for people, but you also have to have your life. I mean, if you don't have your life, then you're not really, that's probably not the type of business you want to be in. So for you to say, hey, look, I'm not going to be there Tuesday, you're going to have to come Wednesday, or else you can go Tuesday, and she's going to have to spray you. So that's important to kind of separate that and put your foot down, so to speak.
Absolutely.
So out of everything that you did to help grow your business from a mobile tanning business into what it is today, and one of the best, obviously, spray tanning studios in Orlando, what is the number one thing that you would say contributed to your success?
Let's see. I had great help, people that trusted in me and helped me wherever I needed, whether I needed somebody to help me wash towels when I had so many loads to do and worked a full day, or I've had so many great things happen that, I've been really blessed in this.
Yeah, but behind all that is hard work, right? Like you say.
It's a lot of work.
Right. So the help is great, and they're there for you to help, but it's a lot of work. And having that supporting cast, whoever it is, family, friends, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever it may be, is important to have behind you, and that to help kind of lead you in that path. So that's good that you had that supporting cast.
Oh, for sure. I'm not sure I would have been able to do it all without, like, the people that have helped me.
Yeah, that's great to share, and I'm sure it's rewarding for you to have, like, a friend that works with you, and, like, somebody you can trust, and somebody you can. You're giving her an opportunity to obviously make some money and have a job, and probably something she's passionate about, and that has to feel good to do that.
Oh, for sure.
So on a more technical note, I know that we kind of talked before, and you didn't really want to disclose this, but I think it's important for people to know is what type of equipment do you use and why?
I actually use a spray machine that you could probably use to paint, furniture or your walls, and that the person who trained me 7 years ago had one, and that's what I've always used, and it's inexpensive and it's easy to get because I can get it at a local hardware store, so if something happens, I can easily go get it, and I don't have to wait or pay for overnight shipping, which is awesome. And it's a Chicago brand, and it was awesome. I love it.
No, I'm so glad you shared that. I know you don't really want to, but I wanted you to because I wanted people to know that there's tons of equipment. Obviously, I'm not endorsing or dissing any of the equipment, but they range from, a couple $100s to multiple thousands of dollars, and that doesn't need to be what you think is going to lead to success. Obviously, you learned how to do the technique, and that's what sets you apart. It wasn't the equipment. Obviously, they all spawned from the same industry. They came from, painting type stuff. So that's something that people need to know. But also, that is not the thing that is going to guarantee your success. Obviously, you can make it work with something as easy as something you purchase from a hardware store. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And on another one is one that a lot of people don't like to answer, but you did volunteer and say you would. What type of solution do you use?
I use Shoaly tanning. I've been using it pretty much the entire time I've been spray tanning. I'm pretty loyal to them. I tried, just like I'm sure a lot of people, when I first started, I bought every sample or ordered any free sample of any possible company that was out there, and I tried them, and once I tried them, I didn't try anything else, and I still don't. It works. My clients love it. It's never orange. It doesn't stink. It just really works.
Yeah, and that's where you and I met, obviously, so we go back a few years, and that's a good point. I see a lot of people in these the spray tan forums and stuff on Facebook, and everybody's looking for the next best thing. And while there's a ton more products and options out there now, I am a firm believer in saying, when you're starting out, find the solution that works, that your clients like, and stick with it. Please don't waste time and money investing in so many samples and all this the effort that goes into it, because that is not, again, as just like the equipment, that's not going to make or break your business. There's a lot of other things that can go into it that you could spend your time and resources, money, whatever it may be, and probably get a lot more out of it.
Absolutely.
So you did mention already that you went through some type of training or certification before you got started. Was that like obviously probably a local person? Was that something you found online? I mean, that was a long time ago now.
It was not a certification. It's not required in Florida. It was actually I worked at tanning bed salons all through high school and college, and one of the old bosses that I worked there for 5 years. He had a salon here, and no longer tanning, but more like a spa, and I contacted him and told him what I wanted to do, and he said he had a girl there that didn't want to do it anymore, and that he would get her to train me, and that was like on a Monday morning, and Wednesday I went over there. She trained me, explained to me. I tanned her, she tanned me, and I went off on my own.
Yeah, and you probably went to friends and family and made sure to suck up to them a little bit, make them your best friends, and then they were probably your canvas, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure. I'm actually still surprised that some of those people talked to me, because it was not very good at first. It was very bad.
Right. That's an important lesson, because I know working in the industry that a lot of people want to come, they get the training, the hands-on training, regardless of the training or certification course, if it's 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, I don't care. Once you leave that, you're going to lose, you're not going to have that comfort, that supporting cast of turning to the trainer and saying, hey, what do I do? You got to figure it out on your own, but you're going to figure it out. It's not that big of a deal. You're going to figure out how to do this, how to spray here, how to do that. You're going to start to probably recognize things that happen and how to handle those. Yeah. And without experience, obviously, you're never going to get there.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to add is that I think that I got better with my tans when I was first starting is when I stopped doubting myself and I was confident. Because when I stopped saying, oh my gosh, did I tan too dark, or why does it look like that, and I just knew that, you're going to shower in the morning and it's all going to be perfectly even. And once I had the confidence, I instantly was so much better. And, then I started charging people, and I wasn't doing free tans every day for everyone I knew anymore. That confidence is so important.
Yeah, everybody in some point thinks that they're not enough or they're not good enough in something in life. It doesn't matter what it is. Everybody suffers from that. So being able to get that confidence is really, really important. And you have to believe in yourself, obviously, before anybody else can. So that's good. That's a good point to point out, and thanks for sharing that with us, because that's definitely important for a lot of people, especially people that are just starting out.
For sure.
So the final question, and I really love this one, is if you could write a letter to yourself when you were just starting out, what would you say?
Oh, my goodness. I would say so many things. You know me, I'm not ever at a loss for words, but I would tell myself that this isn't going to be a overnight money maker, and that I'm going to have to spend lots of time researching and always getting better and learning new techniques for each individual person, because everybody's different, everybody's body's different, and I would also tell myself to be patient, and also, most importantly, because I have a really hard time with this, is to let people help me, to kind of let go of control, and that, people suggest a lot of things, and sometimes you think you know everything, and you really don't, and that really is an awesome thing to learn, and I feel like I finally have let go of my control, and this is my baby, and I'm going to do it all, because I obviously can't, and I think that is something that I would include for sure in the letters. So just let go, have patience, and just know that everything's going to work out okay, and not overnight. You're going to have to work hard for it.
Yeah, all those things are things that Kelly also pointed out in the first episode. I think the patience thing is really underestimated. People don't think about that. And overnight success, they see all these people, boasting about stuff and see all these successful companies, and they think that they can just come in. And obviously, like I tell everybody, if it was that easy, everyone would do it, and they don't. The patience is huge. And then also being able to be humble and take, suggestions and feedback from people, because if you don't do that, you're never going to grow. And that has probably, helped to expand your business beyond what you could imagine. So that's good that you were able to figure that out.
Definitely.
Well, Andressa, I appreciate your time today. I know everybody's going to love all the insight that you shared, so thank you so much for your time. You don't have to. You can offer your website or email if you don't mind people reaching out if they have any questions. I kind of like to put that out there.
Sure.
If you don't, I completely understand.
No, sure, that's fine. My website is sunmistorlando.com, and the email address is info@sunmistorlando.com.
All right, thanks for sharing that. As everybody knows, you can reach me. I'm Grant at happytans.com, and it's Grant at happytans.com is the email address, and the website is just happytans.com. If you have any questions or feedback, I'm always here. Thank you again, Andressa, and have a wonderful day.
You too.